My name's Liam, and this is what I saw in the fall of 2023 on a lonely road near Dunmere, a small town in Cornwall, England. I was 19, working as a delivery driver for a local fast food joint. It was a chilly late October night, around 9:30 p.m., when I got an order for a house on Blackthorn Lane, a narrow, pitch-black road cutting through the moors. Everyone avoided that road. It had no lights, no houses for stretches, and always gave off a bad vibe. Locals said there'd been some bad accidents there years ago, but I figured it was just because the road was so dark. The order was for someone named Ellie Harper, address 17, Blackthorn Lane. I packed the food in my insulated bag and headed out on my old motorbike. As I turned onto Blackthorn Lane, the air felt heavier, and my headlight seemed dimmer than usual, even though it was new. The road was dead quiet, just the sound of my engine and the wind. Halfway down, I saw something that still gives me chills. A woman, wearing a long coat and with long hair, was standing in the middle of the road. I thought maybe her car broke down or she was lost. I slowed down and shouted, "Hey, you need help?" She didn't answer, just stood there, head down. I got closer, and I could hear her muttering something under her breath, but I couldn't make it out. When my headlight hit her, she looked up, and her eyes were wide with fear, staring right at me. My heart was racing. I was about to say something when I heard a car engine revving in the distance, like it was speeding toward us. I turned to look, but the road was empty. When I looked back, the woman was gone. No sound, no trace, like she was never there. I got scared but told myself it was just the dark playing tricks on me. I got it to get to the address. When I reached number 17, there was no house, just an empty lot with some bushes. I double-checked, the address was right, but it was like the place didn't exist. I stuffed the food back in my bag and raced back to the shop. I told my boss what happened, and he said I probably got the address wrong or someone was pranking me. The next day, I asked a friend who works at the town hall. He said Blackthorn Lane only goes up to number 15, and there's number 17. Then he told me a young woman died in a crash on that road years ago. I don't know who that woman was or why she led me there, but I never worked the night shift again after that. A few weeks later, one of the other drivers said they found my delivery bag by the side of the road, half buried in a muddy ditch. The food was still inside, like someone had deliberately placed it there. I never went near Blackthorn Lane again. If you're ever in Dunmere, don't take that road at night. Something's there, and it doesn't want to be seen. My name's Sofia, and this is what I experienced in the summer of 2023 in a remote area near Santa Cruz in northern Portugal. I was 22, working for a tourism company, scouting new hiking trails for groups. One day, my boss asked me to check out a new route in the hills near Santa Cruz. They called them the Burning Hills, not because of fires, but because the red soil looked like it was glowing under the sun. Locals avoided the place, saying strange sounds came from the hills at night, whispers or footsteps on stone. I thought it was just rumors and took the job because I love my work. On a warm August afternoon, I headed out with a backpack full of water, a map, and a flashlight. The plan was to be back before sunset. At first, everything was fine. I marked the trail and took some photos for the company. But as the sun went down, I got this uneasy feeling like someone was watching me. I looked around, but there was nothing, just empty hills and a few dry bushes. As it got darker, I decided to head back. I was walking down a narrow path when I heard a sound, like footsteps on gravel, slow and steady, like someone was following me. I stopped, and the sound stopped. I started walking again, and it came back. My heart was pounding, but I told myself it was probably an animal, maybe a rabbit or a fox. I turned on my flashlight and swept it behind me. Nothing. But when I pointed the light down, I saw something that made my breath catch. A fresh footprint in the dirt, just a few meters behind me. It wasn't a shoe or an animal's paw. Something weird like long, thin fingers. I was starting to panic. I picked up my pace, but the sound got closer. Now it wasn't just footsteps. I could hear a faint whispering, like several people murmuring, but I couldn't make out the words. I turned around and shone my flashlight across the hills. On a nearby ridge, I saw a shadow, a tall, thin figure, human-like, but too stretched. I only saw it for a second before my flashlight died. The battery was full, but it just went out. I ran. I didn't know where I was going, just that I had to get out. The whispers and footsteps followed me. At one point, I tripped over a rock and fell. As I got up, I felt something, a cold breath, brush the back of my neck. I spun around, but there was nothing. Just a strange smell like wet earth and something sharp lingering in the air. I finally reached the main road and threw myself into my car. As I drove off, I glanced in the rearview mirror. Nothing was there, but I swear I saw a tall shadow standing in the middle of the road for a split second. I didn't look back again until I reached town. The next day, I told my boss I'd never go back to the burning hills. He said I was probably tired and imagined it. But a week later, a local who saw my trail map told me that years ago, some miners went missing in those hills and were never found. They said something in the soil pulls people to it. I never went back. A few months later, a coworker said he lost his camera in the hills. When he found it, there were photos on it he didn't take, shots of the hills at night, with a tall shadow that seemed to be staring at the camera. I don't know what was out there, but I'll never set foot in the burning hills again.